Hello and welcome to Horrorfied, the show where you'll float too. I'm your host Joshua Halstead, and today we're talking about horror movie remakes. More specifically, the worst horror movie remakes, the ones I hate. So here's my list of the top 5 worst horror movie remakes of all time. At number 5, Psycho. Can we just agree to stop remaking classics? Especially stop remaking classics that have untoppable performances, because the original Psycho is not only considered to be one of the most seminal horror films of all time, but also one of the greatest films of all time. It's also led by an incredible performance by Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates. It's one of the greatest films of all time, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. It's a suspense thriller masterpiece, and there's literally nothing you could do to improve the film. Which did not stop Gus Van Sant from trying to improve the film in the 90s, and he replaced Anthony Perkins with Vince Vaughn. Despite the fact that Vince Vaughn is a decent actor, he was completely miscast in this film and could not give a performance anywhere near as good as the performance of Anthony Perkins in the original series. It's also a shot-for-shot remake, except for one added disgusting scene, and it's just completely pointless. If you're going to watch Psycho, watch the original Psycho. At number 4, we have When a Stranger Calls. And this one's just kind of perplexing, because here's the problem. The original When a Stranger Calls is a mediocre film with an amazing first 20 minutes. The remake is a terrible film where instead of trying to do something new with the plot that can make the film solid from beginning to end, unlike the original film, they just dragged the amazing 20 minutes of the first film, of the original film, into a full hour-and-a-half long film, effectively removing all tension and all suspense that was there before. Also, the acting and writing is terrible. There's tons of shaky cam. It's all around just really, really bad. And you can tell that it's going to be bad because for some reason they tried to turn it into like an action thriller for the third act, and it's directed by the guy that directed Tomb Raider, so it's not a whole lot of confidence there. At number 3, we have The Stepfather. The original Stepfather is a suspense thriller masterpiece starring Terry O'Quinn about a man who marries women and then kills them and their families. The remake exists. It's really bad. It's a watered-down PG-13 take on an originally very R-rated, very scary, very creepy, and somewhat gory horror film. Now, my complaint is not that the film is PG-13 in all, because there are some great PG-13 horror films. My complaint is that when you take a film that is built out of the idea of taking something, by the way, based on a true story of a guy that did this, and the idea is to say, look how gruesome, how brutal, how intense, how warped real people can be, the people in your life can be, then when you water it down and try to sell it as some sort of jump scare pop culture teen film, it completely falls flat and is completely ineffective in every way. At number 2, we have Prom Night. Prom Night sucks. It's really bad. Look, the original Prom Night is a cult classic film. It earned its place in the pantheon of horror. It's still not that great, but the remake is so bad. The remake literally completely turns itself into pop culture references, two-dimensional characters, and the most ridiculous jump scares I have ever seen. The jump scares make no sense. Logically make no sense. You know when each one of them is coming. They're not at all scary or jumpy. They're laughable. I watched this with my housemates, and we laughed through most of the film. It's really, really bad. The acting is also terrible. This is starring Brittany Snow, who's actually a good actress. She's in the picture of a film. She does a good job, but she is atrocious here. Nothing about this film works whatsoever, and it's painful to watch. And number 1, My Bloody Valentine 3D. Never watched this film. It is awful. I watched this thinking that it would be ironically bad, right? So you watch it and you laugh at it and you drink a beer and you put on your 3D glasses. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's not even laughably bad. It's unwatchable bad. It's boring. The gore is terrible, and everything is shot so darkly you can't even see half of what's going on. The acting is terrible. No joke. If the guys made Supernatural would have seen Jensen Ackles acting in this film prior to casting him in Supernatural, he would not have been cast in Supernatural. Everything about this film falls flat. It doesn't work. It's cheesy. It's silly. The camera shakes all over the place. The 3D is lazy and terrible. The effects are lazy and terrible. The plot line is derivative. It's just, no. And it's not even fun to watch, which I don't get. This is made by the guy that made Jason X. It should be laughably bad, enjoyable bad. It's not. It's just boring and awful and heinous and one of the worst viewing experiences I've ever had. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Have a great day.